everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today I'm excited to be kicking off a GameFound preview series here on the channel for Tainted Grail, Kings of Ruin. This comes from Awaken Realms, and it's landing on GameFound for crowdfunding September 27th. Now, if you haven't checked out my prototype unboxing of everything that came inside of this thing, I'll put a link to it in the top right-hand corner, but inside this video, we're going to go over the setup to start a solo playthrough of Kings of Ruin together to help you make an informed decision on this one and see how the game flows and operates. So without further ado, let's start with the setup and get this game to the table. The first step is to choose your character. I'm going to be playing solo, so I'm going to select just one of these characters. I'm going to go with Elgin here on the left. It's worth mentioning that there are differences between the characters when you're choosing between them. Of course, they have different character actions, and they also have different negative traits. They're visible right on the front of the dashboard there. They also have differences in the length of their survival tracks, and they also have a unique combat and diplomacy deck. The character I've selected is Elgin the Candlemaker. 300 years ago, a giant fleet left homeland seeking refuge from the plague that ravaged the old world. At its helm stood Arthur, the one true king. He led remnants of humanity to the one place he knew was safe, an island beyond the mists, revealed to him in his dreams, Avalon. But dreams are fickle things. Arthur did not know the island already had its masters. He did not know about the weirdness that shrouded Avalon, the primal power of change capable of warping human minds and bodies. As his fleet approached the island, heavy storms broke it apart. Ships landed on the east coast together with Arthur, his court, Merlin, and most of the Round Table. A new Camelot was founded there. Wars were lost and won, and many heroes arose. This is not your part of the story. Your ancestors were the unlucky few who crash-landed in the west on a remote part of Avalon, cut off from the king by clouds of weirdness, high mountain ranges, and the enemy capital. Yet your people survived, clinging to the strips of desolate land and forging their small tribal kingdoms. In years that followed, three great heroes were born out of their struggles. One by one, they traveled east, hoping to find the one and true king. Their journey transformed them, imbuing them with powers not intended for mortals. One by one, they failed to find Arthur. One by one, they returned to your lands, drowning them in chaos and earned themselves a new name, the Kings of Ruin. The sparse network of waystones, ancient mileposts that repulsed weirdness and allowed safe travel suffered in their wake. Many stones were shattered, others drowned in the mists too deep for anyone to find and activate them again. And this brings us to you. You seem to be born under a lucky star, a quiet child of rich Lothian mead makers who could afford to hire you a tutor instead of sending you to work in the fields. You were smart, talented, you quickly learned to read and showed some basic aptitude for magic. Perhaps you were born in the homelands. You would become a sorcerer's pupil or a novitite. Here, the best your parents could do was a grueling apprenticeship in a candlemaker's workshop. Still, you excelled. Shortly before your 20th birthday, you learned all there was about candle making, the strange art of blending animal parts and magic essences to create candles with various effects, including those that could ward off weirdness with their light. You started your own successful workshop, fell in love with a girl, married, and soon expected a child. Your life was as good as life on Avalon gets, too good, in fact. 10 years ago, you journeyed to Four Maidens, a densely populated coastal realm where humans first set foot in Avalon. It was supposed to be a week's journey. You planned to sell your supply of candles at the fair, buy some necessities, and head home. You left your workshop under the care of your pregnant wife, hoping to return soon. It's been a decade and you're not back yet. The last link between four major areas of Western Avalon was severed, and all those who tried to restore it never returned. Year by year, trapped in a foreign land, you hoped the fickle weirdness would retreat just enough for someone to reopen King's Pass. You even walked his trail once in an ample supply of weird candles, yet you were forced to turn back. Slowly falling into desperation, you tried not to think about your wife and the child you've never seen, left alone and without your support. This spring, word reached you that the weirdness finally slithered back from the King's Path. They say the damaged waystone at the pass is almost within reach. An opportunity like this won't happen again in many years. You could not wait. You set foot on the Lost Mountain Trail just like any other travelers, merchants, messengers, and vagabonds, but unlike them, you do not lust for the riches of the lost human kingdoms. You just want to finish your journey and finally return home. Next, I'm going to mark the starting level for energy, which you'll see on the energy column here. We have energy, then health, and then terror. But on the energy one up there with two chevrons pointing towards a numerical value, which is 6, we'll be placing a red cube. I've also gone ahead for the next step and placed the L-shaped health marker on the health track slot. You're going to notice that it kind of has a little bit of an edge jutting out over the energy. This is going to be a great reminder of the impacts that your health has on your overall energy throughout the game. Now we're going to mark our starting attributes and resources. The attributes are the 6 on the outside. So we have aggression, courage, practicality, empathy, caution, and spirituality. You'll also see chevrons inside of these that also indicate where these cubes should go. Attributes have all been set for Elgin. Now we're going to go ahead and give some resource to our character. We're going to get 2 food and we're going to have 1 magic. Next step is to create your 10-card combat and diplomacy decks. Again, unique to your character. They're going to be placed on the left-hand side for combat and the right-hand side for diplomacy. This next step of setup you're only going to do when playing solo with 1 character. You're going to grab the secret deck and find card 11. This is a personal secret and it's called Self-Reliant, and it says after you rest you're going to gain 1 energy. For combat and diplomacy you draw 1 card more at the start of the encounter. Your hand size limit is also 1 higher. That's going to do it for the character setup. Now let's set up the world itself. Elgin's hero miniature has been placed on the Shunned Lands, card 101, with the free symbol icon on it. You'll see 102 above, so we need to place card 102 north of where we are currently situated, and it's going to be on its weirdness side. And we'll talk more about how that works and operates when we get inside the playthrough. And just to see the 2 different icons up close, the clear one here and the weirdness one here, of course, weirdness on the card itself as well. Now we need to prepare the encounter cards, find the encounter decks. They're going to be colored individually. Go ahead and shuffle those together and place it within easy reach. Next, we're going to prepare the secret and item decks. Basically take the secret mini cards and place them all there. They're all numerically valued, so don't shuffle those up. Grab the secrets deck for the standard size cards, same thing. Keep those in order as they are. Don't shuffle those ones up. Then find the item deck. It's going to be broken into item A, and there's also going to be some item Bs, maybe more in the final version as well, and of different tiers essentially. Just take the item A's from this prototype is all we're grabbing, and we're shuffling those ones together to create an item deck. Now grab yourself a fresh save sheet. You're going to use this to save your game. You're going to use it to mark your statuses that are going to permanently change the way some locations and people respond to you. And if you flip it over, you're going to find all kinds of statuses tracked on the very back, as well as removed locations. There's also areas that are not available for this prototype as of yet. Also, don't forget to find these handy reference cards inside the game box. They're going to double-sided. They show things like icons, actions, diplomatic encounters. If you flip them over, you'll find more information on the back for combat and diplomacy icons, the order of the day, and combat encounters. The final step here is to find the Chapter 1 setup card and follow its instructions starting from the front side to build the event deck and encounter decks. The Chapter 1 setup informs us that we need to find Chapter 1, Part 1, all the way through to Part 6 and put them in cascading order, starting with Part 1 on the very top of the deck and Part 6 at the very bottom. Then we flip over that initial Chapter 1 setup card to its backside. It says build your 3 initial encounter decks, green, purple, and blue. For 1 to 3 characters, use all cards with the 1 red icon here. And then it says shuffle the decks. You are now ready to play Chapter 1 of the Kings of Ruin campaign. You skip the start of day phase, and as the first action of the game, all characters explore location 101 together as a party. So in earlier steps, we had placed each encounter deck based on its color. Now this specific chapter here is telling us to use only cards with 1 of the red icons on them because we're playing with 1 to 3 characters. So we simply take each deck, flip it over, take a look through the cards, and remove any that don't just have 1 red icon up in the top left-hand corner. So as an example, in this deck, 2 of these cards will be removed. The chapter is now set up and ready to go. The final thing for that last step is to take the random event deck, give it a good shuffle, and place it nearby. And that, my friends, is going to conclude this setup video. We are ready to go, and I cannot wait to show you more of what this game has to offer in its prototype form. Hopefully you'll join me in the next episode as we begin our adventure together. And that's going to do it, my friends, for the setup for Tainted Grail Kings of Ruin from Awaken Realms, landing on GameFound for September 27th. Also, make sure when you're doing your setup, you keep your miniatures within easy reach as well. I just have them off screen up high to the north there. And also, you can place a 0 stat cube inside the terror track or column as well in order to keep track of that as you move into gameplay. Really looking forward to diving into this solo playthrough with all of you guys. It should be a lot of fun as I covered the original Tainted Grail in its prototype form. So coming back to the table with this new standalone version with the rule changes that have occurred. I'm really excited to show you guys that and help you make that informed decision for this one. Thank you guys again for watching. Hope to see you in the upcoming play, and as always, keep on rolling solo.